What's up, everybody? This is Talkin All That Kazz, and I am DJ Kazzeo. I want to thank you for checking out this particular episode of Talkin All That Kazz. On this particular episode, I got another great interview that I conducted here on my radio show at 90.9 FM KHTC in Salinas, California. But before we get going with that, I want you to go to this address, djkazzeo.com, and connect with me on social media. Whether it's on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, or even if you go and subscribe to my Mixcloud channel, you can hear all my radio shows that I do in their entirety, music, commentary, and interviews. But this right here, Talkin All That Kazz, this is for just the interviews, okay? I want to thank everybody who checked out the first round of interviews that I put up. Now we're on to the second round. This particular round, I'm going to focus on 2019, but I'm going to sprinkle it in with some more current stuff too. So you never know what you're going to get. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of Talkin All That Kazz with me, DJ Kazzeo.
This is Club Rec, bringing you the best in classic and new freestyle music on the Radio Bilingüe Network, live in Salinas, California, at 90.9 FM KHTC. Now, here's your host, DJ Kazzeo. DJ Kazzeo. DJ Kazzeo.
That's right. It's 90.9 FM KHTC right here in Salinas and Monterey. 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy. Worldwide at WednesdayRec.com. Yours truly in the building, and starting the show off in a very special way because I am joined right now by a very special guest. She goes by the name of Jaidie. Jaidie, are you there?
I'm here. How are you doing, everyone? Thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. There we go. All the levels are set now. So, I've been wanting to have you on the show for a minute. A lot, you had records out in the early 90s on Cutting Records. And then, for whatever reason, maybe it's just a geographical thing, I didn't hear too much about you until a couple years back. And then, because I started seeing the name on different playlists and songs again and whatnot. And then all of a sudden I get this new single, or I don't know how new it is, but it's on a compilation called How Could You? And I was like, wow, that's a monster song right there.
Thank you.
So, take me back to the beginning. How did everything start for you?
Dancing for Coral. I used to be chorus, one of his back dancers.
Uh-huh. And so, like, being that, Coral was signed to Cutting Records as well in the early 90s. So, is like, with the connection there, being a background singer for him, were you brought in by the label, or did he bring you in?
Actually, I wasn't his background singer. I was his background dancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My brother, his name is Billy Gonzalez, he was chorus producer at the time.
Mm-hmm. And
he asked me if I wanted to try to do my own single, and I said yes, and here we are.
and that first single was?
Answer My Cry.
Right, which we played just a couple minutes back there. So that's the one that set off for you. That was what, about 91, 92?
Back in 90.
Oh, 90. Wow. Even further back than I realized. So, when you come in and you're releasing those early songs on Cutting Records, it's kind of at the time when freestyle's kind of like going towards a down, it's going down in its popularity. And within a couple years, it's going to be, kind of like almost on its, barely hanging on. What goes through your mind when you come into something that was so big in the late 80s, and at the time you're coming in, it's on the downward, does that like at all make you think like, oh, was this the right decision?
Actually, I did not give any negative thought to it. What I'm grateful about is that Answer My Cry got radio play over here in New York in Hot 97 at the time, and Love You also got radio play. And So Far Away got a little bit radio play, but that's when the genre started going down, and you were barely hearing it. But all in all, I think that considering that it was towards in its end, she got and I say she as Jaidie, she got radio play, which I'm grateful for, because the fans now that I'm back, they are gravitating to all those songs. So if she wouldn't have gotten radio plays, I don't think that people would have remembered me.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of times I'll be talking to various artists, and it almost seems like, even though, like, okay, freestyle comes out, and it's like getting, a good core following in the tri-state area, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. And then you also have a good following in Philadelphia. You have some up in Massachusetts, a lot down in Miami. And then also, like, you have it here in the Bay Area on the West Coast. Texas is a good spot. But I mean, it almost seems like, unless it's from the tri-state area, a lot of artists from that area don't realize that their records are being heard and, making an impact in other regions and other areas. Why do you think that is?
I don't think they're getting the recognition. I mean, back in the day, we had what is called like record pools.
Mm-hmm.
So we would know where it's being played, and they used to have gathering with DJs. And but I don't see that happening now. I mean, from me coming back, I know you have certain radio plays and certain lists, but not the way it used to be. Maybe
Right.
It's because the genre had died back in the day, and now it's trying to come back with I want to say it's a strong feel of freestyle right now.
Well, I mean, there are MP3 pools now. I mean, obviously, there's no more record pools because nobody makes records anymore. They don't press up vinyl anymore, which is horrible if you ask me. But that's a whole nother story. We could be here for hours talking about that. But it just seems like, because I see a lot of artists now that are like releasing new music, new freestyle, and they'll be like on social media, and they'll be saying, yeah, radio doesn't play our music anymore. And while maybe they're like saying that in a general sense, it's not completely accurate, because there are shows. I know there's Jose Ortiz up in Connecticut, there's Tim Schomer out in Chicago, I'm out here on the West Coast. There are DJs that are playing and have weekly shows. So when I hear artists say that radio doesn't play us, while I guess I understand they're talking about it in a general sense, I still take a little bit of offense to it, because like, I'm on the radio and I'm playing your stuff, so you can't blanketly say that no radio is playing us, because there are some radios. So what I'm getting at is, like, that's the kind of comments that make me think that artists really, they don't even care about radio anymore. They're so embedded in social media. What's your take on that?
I don't think the artists realize that other states play them. I mean, honestly, I did not even know you were playing my music. And that's being sincere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm appreciated. Thank you so much. But I don't think the artists, especially the new artists now, realize that there are places where they're playing music in radio. Just because it isn't, I think that what they're thinking is because it's not playing within the tri-state area,
Mm-hmm.
they're going by that. So they're naive in that aspect. I hope and I pray that you don't take it offensively or personal. I honestly believe that they're just naive and don't realize that yes, it is playing in radio.
Right. No, I mean, I don't take it like offense, like, oh, I'm gonna, you're gonna be banned because you said this or that. I just look at it as like, to me, when I first started doing radio, I knew artists that every week, regardless of what genre it was, they would be like looking at trade magazines, they would be looking at reports, they would want to know where their record was, getting attention at, and do what they could for that market. I don't see a lot of artists at all doing that anymore, whereas they're just happy like, oh, I got 10,000 likes on this video, so that means I'm like succeeding. But what do likes actually like do for you?
Oh, you're asking me a question.
Yeah.
No, to be sincere, and again, back in the day, we had a team of people that would do all the stuff that you're actually right now emphasizing.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know until the team brought it to our attention on how well the record was doing, where it was playing, how well it was playing, what number you're in the charts, stuff like that. Nowadays, you have to do the legwork because, like you stated, although there is not vinyl records, and let me just emphasize on that a little bit before I even continue. Vinyl records, it's coming back out because there are a lot of people that are pressing vinyls now. That being said, the fact that we had that team that was doing for us, they were, again, naive towards the fact of nowadays, since you are the one that are pushing your stuff out, marketing your things, and being more hands-on, if you will, I think because of that, people don't really realize what the team in old school days is the way it is in the new freestyle ways.
Mm-hmm.
If I make any sense.
No, absolutely. One of the things that's funny to me, and we're going to get into Love You in just a second here. One of the things that's funny to me is, now that there really is no like trade publications where artists can like, track where their records are being played and the impact they're making. So one of the things that you go by now kind of is when playlists are posted up on social media, if you get tagged. And I find it really funny because there have been a couple artists, I'm not going to name names, but there have been a couple artists who, I weekly post up my playlist every week on my show, and I would tag them in those posts. And rather than like, showing any kind of appreciation, and I'm not doing it for the appreciation, but, just like, they could have said like, hey, thanks for playing my record, that's cool, whatever. But rather than doing that, they just completely block me because they feel like it's a being pestered with, tags and whatnot. I'm like, this is acknowledging that your record is like doing something. You don't want to know about that? Why would you not want to know about that?
This is exactly what I mean as far as being naive.
Right.
Old school, they appreciate things more because of what we went through when we were putting out freestyle back in 89 and 90, even before 89.
Right.
I started with choral at 89. The fact that I went on my own on 90 and the fact that my brother produced me, I know a little bit more of the situation as far as record pools and charts and climbing the charts like for billboards and stuff like that. I'm aware of all these things. Again, the new freestyle artists, they're naive towards that. I don't believe that they really understand on how just playing a record can do, not only here in the tri-state, but everywhere else, like by you,
right,
in California.
Right.
I've never been to California, so the fact that you have me on the air, it's very touching to me, so thank you for that.
Absolutely. And it's not just in freestyle too, it's also in all forms of music, because I also do a hip-hop show, and a lot of the younger artists, well, you know what, let's we're getting really deep here. Let's save it for the next break. I want to get into Love You. Tell me about this record, who produced this, and who wrote it and all that stuff, and then we'll get into it, and then we'll come back.
Okay. That was written by my brother and his ex-girlfriend at the time, but it was a teamwork effort. You had Victor Franco. You also had Donald Ramey. You had Willie Eschamera. You had City Boys Music. But again, my brother, his company is City Boys Music. His name is Ziggy, and his girlfriend at the time, Daisy. They were the ones that wrote "Love You, Love You."
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you know what? This and what year was this again?
I believe "Love You, Love You." Oh my God, my brother's gonna kill me on that one. I want to say it was between 93 and 94, maybe a little earlier than that.
Okay. Well, we'll go around that early 90s. We'll just say early 90s.
There you go.
There you go. All right,
that
so
would work for me.
Let's jump into it. This is Jaidie right here. Love you, love you. She's going to stay on the line. We're going to come back, talk some more about the current state and current artists, how they're approaching social media and whatnot. But, yeah, let's jump into it. Jaidie right here. Love you, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
You're listening to Club Rec on 90.9 FM, KHTC, Salinas, and on the Radio Bilingüe Radio Network. We'll be right back after these words.
From Rags to Wishes on Tuesday night has been folded into New World Roots. Blues, jazz, and ragtime are being blended into a stew of flavors from Caribbean and Creole traditions. It's a seasoning for all seasons. Check this out. New World Roots every Tuesday night at 8 on Radio Bilingüe, KHDC 90.9 FM.
That's right. We're back in the place right here. It's 90.9 FM KHTC Radio Bilingüe here in Salinas and Monterey, 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy, and streaming live worldwide at WednesdayRec.com. Back in the place, still joined by my special guest, Jaidie. Jaidie, you're there, correct?
I am.
All right. So in the last segment, we were talking about some of the nonsensical practices of younger artists nowadays. And as I was stating, it's like, they kind of just feel like all I got to do is throw my record up on the internet and it'll become like an instant hit. And that's really not the case, right?
Absolutely not.
So, like, be coming from your perspective and your stance, and having gone through all the I guess you could almost call it training back in the day. I mean, what are, as you're putting out new stuff now, what are some of the practices you learned back in the day that you're implementing as you go forward now?
First things first is it's rehearsals. You want to be able. Singing is not just getting up on a mic and singing. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes. Recordings, hours of recordings that you're there putting vocals, lead vocals, ad-libbing. There is rehearsals, whether you have a team, which is your backup dancers if you have them. I, back in the day, liked the fact that I had dancers, and we had a nice routine to go with our showcase.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, there's other artists out there that don't like dancers. But that's okay. That doesn't say that, hey, just because you don't have dancers, you don't rehearse, because you still put up and you practice and make sure that your vocals are up to par, especially when you're trying to interact with the fans while you're performing.
Mm-hmm.
So I implement all of that, as well as now I've taken the initiative. I would like to think that I do marketing. So now I'm marketing my own stuff as for example, you mentioned How Could You in a compilation album.
Mm-hmm.
I came out in another compilation album before How Could You in a class of our own as well, Volume 2. And the song is called I Know. So I Know and How Could You came and were written by Audie Rodriguez. And it was put on the compilation album of In a Class of Our Own. One was Hidden Gems, and the other one is The Menagerie.
Right.
Now, this was also done with Alex from Latin Nation.
Right. Alex Zuniga, right?
Right, from New Style Records. And, the fact that they allowed me, or not allowed me, they asked to see if I would sing a song in their compilation, I was honored about that. Again, the rehearsals are key. If you don't rehearse, you're not going to put up a good performance. Whether it's just singing on your own or singing with backup dancers, you're not going to put up a good performance. So I like to initiate all of that, and I would hope, and my advice to future freestyle artists is take it serious. There's no time for games, and there's no time for thinking, hey, you put on one good record and you're a star. That's not the way it goes either.
No,
you put on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, once you have one that's out and gaining some recognition, you gotta have the next one ready to go right away.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So speaking of that now, with How Could You doing so well, what do we got next? What's coming next?
I actually did not backup, but I did a piece on a new song, which is Shy's Within My Heart, Within My Heart, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And his daughter's on it, Anita Marie. Ty Bless is also on it. George Anthony is also on the record. It's with all my, oh my God, he's gonna kill me too. Within My Heart, the Bloodline mix. You got to listen to that. So I did a part of that. Is
that the record that did that guy JW have anything to do with that record?
He did one of the mixes, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he had sent that to me, and it's in my email. Actually, I did listen to it. It's just I need to edit it down because it's like 6 minutes long. I'm like, well, that kind of doesn't work for radio, so I gotta do some snips on it. But it's a very strong record.
Right. So you got to listen to the Bloodline mix because that's I did a part on that as well.
Is that the only mix you're on, or are you on all the mixes?
No, I'm only on that one.
Okay. I'll try to get my hands on that for sure. Now, if people want to catch up with you on social media, and so they can keep aware as, I am connected, how do they go about getting in touch with you?
You can reach me on Facebook for now. Right now, I'm also lining up the social medias. I've been away for a little bit,
mm-hmm.
but here I am back. Yes, it's Jaidie Torres or you can go on my Like Me page. Also, Jaidie Torres at jaidie.music.
There you go, and it's spelled Jaidie, in case anybody was wondering about that. I want to really thank you for taking the time to call in tonight. I know you got a big day tomorrow, so which you got to get up early for. So I'm gonna not keep you too much longer here, but I really appreciate you taking the time to call in tonight. And hopefully, when the next production's ready to go, we can get you, back on the show.
That'll be great. And if you inbox me your email, I can send you my next single.
Oh, well, guess who? As they say on AOL, guess who's got mail? I will definitely get that to you ASAP. We're gonna jump into How Could You. I've been playing this for a couple months now. I think this is really one of the strongest songs out right now as far as freestyle goes. And once again, thank you for calling in tonight. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.